Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. I hope you stay have energy because today is the last day. So, thank you all for being here. Let me start my presentation. So, my name is Kang Wei Phu, and I am the head of business advisory office from TISAWorks. For the next 40 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through the topics of one of the critical components for the success of our digital payment scheme. This is about creating. Sorry. Okay. This is about creating the pricing framework that drive real-world adoptions and ensure long-term sustainability. It is a challenge we all face right now. I want to share a structured approach that you may consider when you develop your own. Okay. Remember one thing: this is neither and only the way nor the perfect solution. Okay, we will start. This is the content. We will start with a brief introduction and the rationale behind this work, and then we will look into some interesting insight from global market and lesson learned from various implementations. From there, we will get into the core of this presentation and the detailed process of developing a pricing model, including forecasting demand and architecting the cost structure. Then we are going to explore two key models I'm going to present here. And finally, I will briefly talk about the importance of go-to-market strategy, just a brief, that align with our pricing model, and wrap up with some key conclusions. Okay. So why are we all here? This context is clear because many nations and central banks now they are encouraging instant and interoperable payment system as a powerful tool for financial inclusions. The goal is to bring every citizen into the digital economy, but having technology is half of the battle, actually. This brings us to the purpose of this session. The pricing model can make or break a system. If it is too expensive, people won't use it. There's no inclusive. If it is too cheap, or even it is free, the system cannot sustain itself in the long run. So the pricing model is one of the core components that drive the economics of the scheme, the entire scheme. So our ultimate goal is then to build a framework that is fair for all participants, transparent in its structure, and resilient enough to adapt and grow. It is about finding the perfect balance between affordability for the end user and sustainability for the scheme operator as well as other participants. I mean the DFSP. This figure is about the journey we are going to take. Many payment systems start with unbalanced state at first. They might be struggling with issues of affordability, which slow down inclusions, or they might be facing sustainability challenges because of poorly structured or subsidized pricing model. This framework provides a clear path to move from that unbalanced state to balanced one. It begins with studying international cases, learning from the success, not failure. Success and struggles of others, so we can overcome potential challenges. Next, we move to demand focusing. We need to get a real data-driven information on what transaction volume we are realistically estimate. This is not just a guesswork. It is about building a solid foundation for our model. With that focus in hand, we can then perform detailed calculation, the detailed cost modeling, analyzing every component from capital expenditure to variable operational costs. By following these steps, we can arrive at balanced payment system, which is affordable, inclusive, and built to last. Yes. So let's ground this in a real world scenario. We work with a country. Now here we call country X. The situation there was very typical. A fragmented digital ecosystem with heavy cash reliance. The central bank had a strong vision to change this, mandating interoperability to drive financial inclusion. Within this market, there were two major DFSP. The large one. They have different strategy. DFSP 1, which focus on scales, they offer fee-free model. For DFSP 2, on the other hand, it took more traditional approach. They focus on value and competitiveness, which means they implement a tier fee structure where the price was based on the transaction value, not volume. So we need to consider where are we going to start, right? We decide to focus on P2P first, because P2P transaction represent the majority of transaction volume in many emerging markets. It is a use case people already understand. It is like transferring money to family and friends. This familiarity helps us faster adoption, and it creates network effect that are absolutely essential for the entire ecosystem to scale. So this chart provides an example. How we can prioritize use case to be implemented based on volume and value, two factor only. This is just an example. It cannot be same for all country. We need to do research and get input from relevant participants so that we can properly put proper number in this prioritization chart. Here we use two factor, volume and value, but we can add more factor like ease of implementation, willingness of participant, the DFSP, and so on. Now let's look at what we can learn from other markets. We analyze several countries to understand the real-world impact of different pricing strategies. So the first one, country A. The lesson was clear. Affordability drive adoption. Actually, they use two-tier approach. They make small value transfer highly affordable to drive adoption while generating revenue from high value transaction. This is for country A. Next, country B has a balanced governance and cost recovery structure. It employs cap scheme fees. So it regulates pricing to ensure affordability and sustainability. This is for country B. Next, country C. It shows the risks of donor-funded and a free model. Although low or no fee leads to explosion in adoption, sometimes it is risky because it can create dependency. It means when donor funds run out, it may be difficult to introduce fees, right? So this is the risk of a donor-funded model for the country C. The next one is the country D, final one. This one highlighted the problem of inconsistent pricing. There are several several DFSP were allowed to charge different fees. This may create confusion, and more importantly, it undermines trust. Actually, when we do research, we learn several countries. Now I put four countries as example here. Okay, so by learning those cases, we arrive at five critical lessons that we should that should guide any pricing model framework. The first one, affordable, but not for loss. Not for loss. Is the best way to drive adoption and frequent use. Second, focus on volume over margin. In early days, we should not try to maximize our profitability. Not to maximize profit on each transaction. The goal is to build a high volume and sustainable revenue stream that grows over time. This is the second point. Next, we must have a transaction plan. If we subsidize costs initially, we need a clear time-bounded plan for how we will transit to full cost recovery model. The next is the consistency. It is the key. A harmonized fee structure across all participants build the trust and confidence needed for the system to become a part of people's daily life. So, as I mentioned in previous slide, one example, the country allow the FSP to charge different pricing. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is not quite good. So, finally, we need a balanced incentive. The pricing model that must be structured in a way that every participant in the ecosystem is rewarded for their role. So a healthy ecosystem is one where everyone wins, not only one or a few parties. All right, so with those lessons in mind, let's move into how do we actually build the pricing model for our system. Our process done on three pillars. We can also say three consecutive processes. First, demand estimation and forecasting, where we project future transaction volume on our IIPS, on our system. Second, the cost model architecture, where we map out every single cost associated with running the system. And finally, based on that data, we can then evaluate different model alternative. Here, I'm going to introduce two. We may have several options in real world. Okay, so we start by looking back. To forecast the future, we need to look back, right? So we need to look back, analyzing last 5 years of transaction. The historical domestic transfer data, to understand the trend, the seasonality, and the growth pattern. This is important. We need the support from all participants, so that we can estimate more accurately. Yeah. With that historical baseline, we then build a focus. This is not just a simple trend line. We project future volume by adding growth factor based on economic indicators and market trends. But it is not the volume that will happen on our IIPS. This is the volume we focus from the the transaction of the whole country, right? So we also need to estimate the transaction will be happen on IIPS as well. This calculation takes the total project volume and multiply it by estimated migration rate. This what percentage of existing transaction do we think will move to our new platform? I mean the IIPS, and then we add marketing effort as well to account for more new user. And this is also the example in real world calculation. You can also put other factors that influence the growth rate of the transaction volume. This detailed forecasting allow us to project up to transaction per second. We already know TPS. We calculate this, which is critical for capacity planning. We run multiple scenarios and we constantly verify this figure with key stakeholder, central banks and DFSP, to ensure our assumptions are realistic and logical. At first, when we do not have much information, mostly we rely on assumption, which can be wrong. As time goes by, we have more knowledge and we change the model and it will be more and more accurate. So by doing this, this can prevent us from over-investing in infrastructure or getting a problematic system that cannot handle the load, heavy load, I mean. Once we know our expected volume, we can build a cost model. In the last, until the previous slide, we estimated the transaction volume. Then we need to consider the cost. We can build the cost model. We break it down into 3 categories. The first one is capital expenditure. We call CapEx. These are big upfront investment. For example, the code switch component, software license, and initial hardware setup. They are heavy investment. Second is the operational expenditure. We call OPEX. These are the fixed ongoing costs running the system day to day. This include the, for example, includes a salary of the human resource, security monitoring, and other direct operating expense that don't charge, that don't change much with transaction volume. Finally, we have variable costs. There are costs that scales directly with usage. For example, think of usage-based cloud infrastructure. I mean the hosting fees, Amazon Web Service, or something like that. Also the network bandwidth and fee paid to other external service provider. So for now, we finish estimating transaction volume, and we have the cost structure, cost model. We need to put some number. And then now we have a big decision. With a clear understanding of our projected volume and cost, we can evaluate different pricing model. We focus on 2 alternatives here. The one is I call a traditional scheme model, and the next one is the revenue split model. The traditional scheme model is very straightforward. Revenue comes from 2 sources. The first one is fixed scheme fees, either one-time or recurring, paid by participant just for being part of the system, plus a usage fee based on transaction. It is also different from system to system based on their preference. Its main strength is simplicity, actually. It provides a predictable cost structure for participants, making it easy to budget. However, however, it has a significant limitation. The high fixed fee can major barrier to a major barrier for a major barrier to entry for small DFSP. If we estimate too low, the scheme lose money on every transaction. That we need to notice. In this model, sustainability depends heavily on accurate per transaction cost estimation. We need to estimate those costs, and then we need to finalize with our pricing. So the next one, the revenue split. A revenue split model that offer a more dynamic approach. Here, the revenue comes from a small commission on transaction value. For example, the fees might be 0.5% for transaction under 100 US dollar, and a lower 0.25% for those above. Then the revenue is shared among key player, the payer DFSP, the switch operators, and the payee DFSP. The strength of this model is that it aligns everyone incentive. Revenue is directly linked to the value being transacted. So everyone is motivated to grow the ecosystem. It is particularly effective in market with miss of transaction sizes, because it keeps for larger transfer attractive while still monetizing the high volume of smaller ones. Okay. Another thing, its main challenge, however, is require accurate assumption about average transaction size and the right revenue split percentage. If we get those assumptions wrong, we can misalign incentive and put sustainability at risk. So remember, our pricing activity should not be one time or final. It need to improve we need to improve our assumption and new finding. So as we progress with the system, it is sort of a living document. We have to update, we have to modify our model time to time. So for country X, after much analysis, the revenue split model was recommended, and as it is better supported the goal of inclusion and balanced incentive for all participants. Okay. So next is a go-to-market strategy. The pricing model alone is useless. Here in our payments ecosystem, I mean the IIPS system, everything is equally important. Not only technology, we need to have a pricing model, we need to have a go-to-market strategy. Also, we need to develop scheme rule, agreements, many things. They are equally important to launch our system successfully. So the pricing model alone is useless if nobody knows about or use the system. The model must be integrated with a go-to-market strategy. For the FSP, we need to provide strong incentive to join and promote the scheme. This can include like waiving onboarding fees or for early adopters, providing marketing support, and sharing transaction insight to help them serve their customer better. For the end user, the incentives need to be direct and compelling. Things like fees holiday, right here, for the first few months, reward for frequent use, and targeted outreach in rural areas with agent assistant that can help drive initial adoption. This is the small introduction about the go-to-market. The main topic is about the pricing. This is just an introduction. And our messaging needs to be simple and powerful. Here, focusing on affordability, convenience, and trust. A great go-to-market strategy amplify the strengths of our pricing model and accelerate the journey to widespread sustainable adoption. So, conclusion: building successful digital payment ecosystem requires a pricing model that carefully balance affordable, fairness, and long-term sustainability. It is about adapting the global lesson to the unique context, not just copying and pasting their model in another country. We have seen that P2P is the most effective entry point for transforming the entire ecosystem, creating foundation for future growth. But it depends. We need to carefully prioritize each use case according to the market situation. As I mentioned in one slide, we need to prioritize the use case, not recommending to start P2P always. We need to do more research. And most importantly, this cannot be done in isolation. The commitment and participation of all key stakeholders is absolutely essential for future success, because their input shape the better model, right? As I mentioned, we must prioritize use case and invest strategically to turn the vision of the financial inclusion into reality. So now I put here the QR code. You can scan and download the whole white paper we published very recently. The presentation is based on this, but in the white paper, you can learn more information. You can read more information. So thank you very much for your attention. Yes.
Yeah, please. I want you to show us the QR code.
Excuse me.
Hi, good afternoon. From your experience implementing Moja Loop, what's the typical baseline cost per transaction that you would get? And how much do value-added services like risk management systems or other payment services add to this cost? And maybe just to follow up on that, what's the lowest cost per transaction you've achieved so far, and at what scale?
For different system we calculate different. We get different number. As far as I remember, it is about for per transaction. It is like 0. Triple or $401, something like that. This is the per transaction.
Point zero.
0.0001 per transaction cost. Yeah. About for the value.
Sorry, so that's 1.01 cents.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
So for the value, we need to consider the value for our participant, not only for the IIPS, I mean the switch operator. As I mentioned, every participant has to be win, right? So um, they it's depend on their strategy. For example, the different DFSP. I mentioned as well in the slide. One DFSP charge no fee. Other DFSP charge with two-tier pricing. It is their strategy. So this strategy is depend on their value proposition. So we need to suggest the DFSP to develop their own strategy, own value, so that they can join our system. If not, if they cannot see their value to join the system, yeah, they will be hesitant. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mine is not much of a question, it's more of a comment. So I come from the Gambia's card switch, GAM switch. So our model is a traditional model. So as you said, we faced a lot of issues when it comes to barrier of entry, for especially for smaller institutions. But the reason we've been able to have this work is through central bank directives forcing some of these big players to be able to come onto our platform. So that's why we've even chosen to go with Mojaloop. And a week before I came, we had a pricing discussion with about 45 DFSPs so that we can come up with our pricing models. And based on those discussions, we were able to have some leeway. So I was just talking to Michael, I think yesterday, and he mentioned one of the points that you did as well. When it comes to early adopters, you can even make it free of charge so that you can have to drive up your revenue. And then from there, based on those trends, you can come up with, a better pricing model so that it can accommodate everyone for the market. So I think that is very much synchronous to what he was telling me.
Yes. Yeah, whatever the model, we need high quality data input and information, and also uh, the participation from different entities, so that we can make better model. If not, it will be losing. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. I have two questions. Uh, I think first on the pricing model, you did present two models: the traditional schemes and the revenue split. For traditional, it's obviously that we can recover some of our capex, but with the revenue split, is it assumed that the hub operator will cover the capex? With this model, assuming that we meet certain volume? And the second question would be, is it also feasible to explore a hybrid pricing model for such services?
You mean the hybrid hybrid of these two model, right? Uh, So for us, we up to now we only use the revenue split model. This is for the second question. For the first one, yes, it is depends on the negotiation, the agreement between the participant. Mostly the in the traditional model, the switch operator charge DFSP for the joining fee, right? But in the revenue split model, they charge the end user very small amount. It is they're using like a large number. If the transaction is very big, the commission is very low, and those that amount can cover the switch operation. In that case, maybe the switch operator can waive those costs, and it talk about pricing at the very first place. Maybe they will have some concern, I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. In this documentation, this white paper, I put annex. You can make a reference on those annex, and you can try to build your own Excel model as well. Thank you.